Last time I shot this video, I had a lot of people that got mad at me over Marnie the wing woman and me saying that she's not necessarily the greatest coach. And to be fair, no, she isn't. She's a marketer. She's made to be giving very general advice. So the advice she's going to be giving is advice for the average Joe. The guy's not trying to improve necessarily his results, just maybe mainly more his dating. It's not the guy that actually truly wants to get good at this. He's like the guy that works at Walgreens who wants to pick up his coworker in the office. This is the guy that is on a dating app and is trying to figure out how to text a girl. It's not a guy who's actually trying to put in the true work. So when I say that Marnie was like a 7 out of 10 on the scale of dating coach, I'm sorry, she is. I don't mean to be that way, but she's not this person who's out there running the streets like me and my friends. She's not there trying to figure out all the little nuances of dating for men. She also, to be fair, is a girl. And the same way it'd be hard for me to explain to a girl how to improve on her standing, it's hard for a girl to explain to a guy because she just isn't a guy. The same way that I'm not a girl. It's hard for me to understand a girl's alien dating reality. Though I've studied this for a very long time, been in this industry for 12 years, it's still extremely hard for me to explain to a girl how she should improve. So coming from that headspace, there's just too many biases. So when I say that Marnie the wing woman isn't necessarily the greatest coach of all time, surprise, surprise. She doesn't go out there and actually know what it's like to be a guy. It's like she's honestly where she's at. She's great. She's great for the average like Joe. But she's not there going and picking up girls herself. She's not out there trying to improve herself, trying to improve her charisma, trying to improve her social skills, she's not trying to be out there on the bleeding edge with her clients. She's not out there saying, hey, this is what we should do, approaching girls with her clients. Not out there shooting infield like I was tonight. I was out there shooting infield tonight. I got quite a few in. One of which of the girls is actually currently trying to get me out to go on a night swim with her to her pool. And instead, I'm here on camera with you guys shooting this video because I instead wanted to work. I instead wanted to hustle it out and make you guys a great video. However, that infield will be up tomorrow, and I will also be shooting more infield tomorrow. Throughout the day. It's my one weekend free finally of any boot camps. However, I am currently trying to fill up some boot camp spots for Houston, Texas. If you guys are interested, it's August 3rd through the 5th. Let me know at 702-841-9909. Text me Houston if you are interested. Again, I'm going to be breaking down another infield of Marnie the Wing Woman. I have not watched it yet, and this video has the capability of actually changing my mind about her. Again, in the last video, I got so many people mad at me. I didn't even say anything bad about her. I just said she wasn't the greatest of all time as a coach. It's not too far outside of the reality to say that about her. She's a very generalistic type of coach. She's made for very bland coaching. She's not this like person, this god tier level coach. She found a niche within the dating scene and then capitalized on it instead of like me, where I instead wanted to become the niche. I fought to be in this niche. She instead saw a lane and she chose it. I fought to be in this lane. So we come from different backgrounds. I wanted to be a dating coach above all else. I didn't want to be a doctor. I didn't want to be a car salesman. Marnie instead saw a lane and she chose it. I don't think this was her her standing in life. I don't think out of all the different things that she could have done in her life, this was her number one chosen thing. But she did the best with what she got. And now we have a great marketer who is good at giving general dating advice. So to be fair, she's making the world a better place, and I have nothing bad to say about her. With all that being said, me sounding again like I'm talking shit on her, I got another video here to break down with her. In this video, she's talking about how to get a girl's phone number without being creepy. Again, something I've been doing all night tonight. Probably be posting some infield up sometime this week, throughout the weeks from this weekend of me going on approaching girls. So, let's see how it goes. With that being said, let's get into the video. I've seen an amazing pickup culture over in Houston, merged with the fact that Houston has some of the most beautiful women in the States. So I decided to run my very first ever Houston Bootcamp. 3 days in Space City. You'll be coached by me 10 hours a day. That's right, a total of 30 hours of coaching. If you are interested, text 702-841-9909. Payment plans are available and spots are limited. Text Houston to 702-841-9909.
Everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today I'm going to be going over how to approach girls without being creepy. This is a tough one, and it's honestly a question that I get from you guys almost every single day, and understandably, because I've seen some really awful videos on the internet telling you guys how to approach girls, and I could not think of anything worse on how to approach a girl, so I figured it was time for me to make my own video and just kind of give you guys a woman's perspective on this, because I think depending on what you do and how you do it, it can come across the wrong way, hence the trying not to be creepy factor. So today I'm going to be going over some examples for you, some things to do, some things not to do, and why. And just to be transparent here, I've had guys approach me in public and be incredibly successful. I've had guys approach me in public and not be successful at all. So I think I can offer a little bit of insight because I've had this happen to me, and I know exactly why, some things have worked out and others have not worked out. So stick with me here. So tip number one that I have is that you have to make it make sense. And what I mean by this is that you have to make it feel natural. It has to kind of have to do with what's going on around you, where you're at. You just really want it to come across as natural. And this is why I would not recommend just walking up to a girl and saying, "Hi, can I have your number?" First of all, she doesn't know you. Second of all, unless she finds you incredibly attractive right off the bat, she's not going to give it to you. And third of all, you've given her no context. You haven't made her feel comfortable. You haven't made her feel safe. You haven't started a conversation with her. So why are you just asking for her number right off the bat? You don't even know if you want to talk to her. And she's probably not going to want to give her number out to a stranger. So like I mentioned, the first thing you say to her should have something to do with what's going on or something that involves your environment. So just an example here, I was at the pool the other day. I was laying in a chair and there was a girl laying in a chair next to me and she was reading a book. And this guy came up to her and was kind of just chatting with her and started talking about the book she was reading. So he found something that was going on that they could easily talk about that would start the conversation and get it going. And their conversation just flowed from there. He left to go to his car. He was with his nephews. He was like babysitting or something. And he came back and handed her his number and was like, "I would love to take you out sometime. If you're interested, call me." It was perfect. So after he gave her his number and he walked away, the girl started talking to me about it and she was like, "Wow, that was so refreshing." And then I told her that I have a YouTube channel all about this and she was super into it. And I was like, I'm going to tell this as an example in one of my videos because it was so perfect. And she was telling me that she had went out downtown the night before and she was out at bars and stuff and nobody approached her, nobody said anything. So it's just nice when someone is bold and confident. So what was so perfect about the way he did it was that he got the conversation going. He made her feel comfortable. He got to know her a little bit. Or a couple of
To be honest, I wanted to see where she was coming from first before I had anything to say. But again, this is coming from the fact that she's also a girl. She doesn't understand what it's like to improve with women. There are some guys who could absolutely fucking do this approach right here where they approach and they're very indirect and they can be direct still in the context and still be man to woman. But most of you guys are not there yet. They're not at that place where you guys can go direct with a girl and just out of the blue just keep it sexual. A lot of you guys need to go direct. A lot of you guys need to go direct because you have no other choice otherwise. You guys have to get comfortable with being a man to woman. And if you're not comfortable man to woman because you're afraid of rejection or because you just don't know how to bridge that gap in the masculinity, you have to go direct until you get comfortable with the directness. It's this is good advice for a guy in a certain place. For a guy that's like where I am or for one of my friends, this is great advice. Just start a conversation about a fucking dumb book. And then the conversation is going to naturally devolve into like a sexual, man to woman conversation, but that's not the case. Most of you guys are not there yet. You guys are not there to the point to where you guys can start a conversation, be masculine, witty, fun, free, and free of outcome and attract the girl. You guys have to start off getting used to the fact of bridging that masculine gap. And if you aren't there yet, it's unfortunate, but it's just takes time, just takes practice.
It's before he just asked for her number and he didn't even ask her for.
However, yes, I absolutely agree with the fact about the phone number about attracting a girl. You have to have a conversation first for her to actually know who you are before you grab a phone number. And you have to come from this headspace too. If you just ask for a girl's phone number, the girl in her head has to be thinking to herself, he doesn't know anything about me. So does he just care about the way I look? And then it dehumanizes her. So then she doesn't want to give you a number. You want to have conversations with the girl so she gets a feeling of who you are, to get a sense of your status, if you'd be cool on a date, cool in person, cool in conversation down the line. And if you're not having a conversation up front and you don't know how to be free-flowing and smooth and relaxed in the conversation, you're not going to get the girl's phone number. You can't just walk up and be like, "Hey, can I have your phone number?" Again, unless you just happen to be the archetype of what this girl's looking for, it's not going to work.
Gave her his number, which put the ball in her court. So he did everything he needed to do, and he did it perfectly. Absolutely right. I hope the guy somewhere out there is watching this video and knows that he did a great job, because it was perfect. So some other tips I can give you guys here. Number one, you could ask for advice. So if you see her out somewhere, you could ask her where her favorite place to eat around here is. Something that just gets the conversation going. Maybe
Again, great advice for somebody like me and my friends.
Blah, 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 keep the conversation going. Next, you could be funny. If you're waiting in line somewhere, like a coffee shop or a restaurant, you could say something like, I'm having an internal crisis. Do I get the avocado toast or the eggs benedict? And just get the conversation going there. If she's in line, she's probably ordering something too, and you guys can kind of start talking about it. Whatever it might be, just really getting the conversation going in a way that feels comfortable, that feels natural, without you just going up to her and asking for her number. Because like I said, unless she finds you incredibly attractive, you're not going to get it. Number two, this is a huge tip for you guys. I see you guys make this mistake so much. Not necessarily you guys, but just guys in general, and that is keep it clean. The last thing a girl wants is to be approached by someone that is being inappropriate. I'm sorry, in this day and age, you have to be so careful with your surroundings. Me personally, if I go somewhere, I get in my car, I lock the door, I check my back seat. I'm very cautious when I'm out because I watch a lot of crime shows, I watch a lot of murder documentaries, and all of these different things that make me kind of freak out a little bit, which I probably should stop doing. But I know a lot of girls are in the same boat, so you need to make her feel safe, you need to make her feel comfortable. I know you could be the nicest guy in the world, but she might not know that. So don't be inappropriate, don't be weird, just play it cool, guys, and keep it clean. Saying something sexual or inappropriate to someone you've never met can be really off-putting, even if you maybe didn't necessarily mean it that way. I know sometimes we might think something in our head and mean it one way, but it comes out and someone takes it another way. So just something to consider here. You can give a compliment to someone without coming across as sexual. I think giving a compliment can be a great conversation starter, but try to make it not so physical or inappropriate or sexual in a way. For example, don't say something like, your butt looks so great in those jeans, or those jeans look great on you. Say something.
I was struggling to understand what she was saying at first, but I agree. Like, upfront, don't be so sexual. Girls want to know that you care about their personality because girls are so objectified. If you're going to talk to them in that way, they want to know that you actually do care about who they are, because girls are so looked at as sex objects by men. So yeah, the conversation should be avoided, but I mean, it's not like a top 1% thing to avoid being creepy, but I agree. Like, if you get sexual too fast, yeah, it's going to come across creepy because you're now looking at her like an object, and that's the key. That's the core of what makes somebody feel. It's the core of what makes somebody feel the creepy energy off of you. If you're somebody that is turning a person you're talking to into an object for whatever fucking reason, you will become creepy.
Said about her style in general. You could say something like, I love your leather jacket. I've been looking for one like that. Where did you get it?
No, don't say that.
Something like that just gets the conversation going without it being creepy, like saying, your butt looks so good in those jeans. Yikes. Giving a compliment about something that she's wearing is a really easy way to get the conversation going, but like I said, you really need to be careful here on how you give the compliment. That's why I think the tips I gave in number one are just a lot easier, but depending on the situation that you're in, it can be a little bit difficult. So complimenting something about her style, like her jacket or her shoes, or something that you genuinely like, and you ask questions about it, can really get the conversation going, especially if you're someone that likes style and fashion and all of that fun stuff. That would be probably the easiest way in the world for me to approach someone, because I love fashion and all things related. So if that's something that you're into, then that would be a great place to start.
She'll think you're gay.
And tip number 3 that I have for you guys is to be confident. Confidence is
no
shit. The most important thing in general, all the time, but especially when you're approaching a girl. Girls can really pick up on your confidence and your positivity when you approach them, and by approaching with confidence, it makes her feel more comfortable too. So just something to keep in mind. If you
Hey guys, just be confident.
her with your hands in your pockets and you're not making eye contact and you're very timid and shy, she's going to feel that energy as well and probably kind of reciprocate that a little bit and maybe be a little bit standoffish. But if you approach her with confidence, with eye contact, and just really coming across like you bring everything to the table, then she's going to pick up on that as well, and you're going to have a lot more success than the contrary. So when you're approaching a girl, you're really going to want to pay attention to your body language.
Just make sure you're confident.
Important, and especially when you're meeting someone for the first time. So you're going to want to smile, stand up straight, make eye contact, and just really...
She's talking about the mannerisms of being confident, but not actually being confident. Though I can say that like acting and moving confident can help, but I'm gonna say this as somebody who used to have crippling social anxiety. Just standing straight and giving people eye contact does not actually necessarily make you more confident on the inside. Not to mention that your body will viscerally fight you giving eye contact and doing all these movements and all this shit and like actually walking in a way that's confident. No. If you want to get confident, you're going to have to do exposure therapy and actually become somebody that is capable of being confident, somebody that can actually believe in himself. You have to go through the grind. It's not as easy as she's saying right here. But again, this is a YouTuber pickup artist, not an actual person who's doing this shit for a living. She's doing this for YouTube and views. She's actually getting paid for the views. She's not somebody that's trying to like actually help necessarily out guys that are from different spectrums. She doesn't know what she's necessarily talking about. She's a marketer.
Be friendly, warm, and inviting. And ultimately, that's going to make her feel more comfortable and let her walls down a little bit with you so that she can get to know you and things can go from there. And number 4, the last tip I have for you guys is to read the room, okay? Sometimes things work out, sometimes things don't. You could approach someone and think they're great and you're great and it might not work out. So don't get discouraged, and whatever you do, if she says no, do not keep pursuing it. Do not be aggressive. Do not make her be happy that she said no to you, okay? Just be a gentleman, move on with grace, and take it as a loss or a win because you still got practice. If she's being really short with you and you can tell that she doesn't really want to talk or she's not feeling it, just move on. It's okay. You don't need to get aggressive. You don't need to get upset. Rejection happens to all of us. It's happened to me before, so I totally understand where you're coming from. So whatever you do, don't get
She's been rejected.
Don't get aggressive, and just move on with your life. And another thing is to be proud of yourself for getting out of your comfort zone. It can be really scary, especially if you don't do it a lot, to approach people. I'm someone who is an introvert. I'm typically kind of shy when I'm in public. So for me to approach someone would be a really big deal, and if I did it, even if I got rejected, I would still feel proud of myself for doing it. So regardless of the outcome, it's just really good for getting yourself out of your comfort zone, and it's good practice. So like I said, if you feel like she doesn't want to talk to you, it's all right. This is going to happen. Some girls don't like to be approached. Other girls are flattered to be approached. So it really does depend on the girl as well, and if she's attracted to you. I think I've mentioned it a million times before, but physical attraction is important for that initial attraction stage, especially when you're making a first impression or all you know about someone is what they look like. So keep this in mind. This is why it's important to put your best foot forward and to make a good first impression. And I wanted to give you guys a good example and a bad example of guys that have approached me, just to give you guys a little bit of insight in this as well. So the good time that someone approached me, I was at the gym, I was on the treadmill, and I was leaving. We had made a little bit of eye contact. I had seen him at the gym before. We had smiled at each other, whatever. I mean, we were kind of flirting back and forth at the gym, so he definitely read the room there. He could tell that I was giving him body language back that was signaling that I was interested. So I was on the treadmill, he was leaving the gym, and before he walked out, he came up to my treadmill and he said, "I'm so sorry to interrupt your workout, but I cannot leave this gym without knowing your name." And he just got the comfort.
Yeah, guys, just wait till a girl looks at you, then go approach. No. Sorry, but I mean, like, okay, cool, yay. But I don't like the underlying context. This is, again, a girl who doesn't understand. She thinks that all guys get checked out eventually or whatever, and like girls are just very obvious with their signals because she's a girl.
And going there, we talked about being a member at the gym. We talked about what we were doing in life currently.
You'll never know if a girl's truly checking you out until you go say hi. If you think so, so I can tell when a girl's checking me out because I've been doing this for fucking 12 years. But like, if this is your average Joe's, the guy that's probably watching this fucking video, you don't know. All right, you obviously don't know, and you're gonna obsess about whether or not the girl's checking you out. Just go and find out. Go and approach. Don't wait for choosing signals.
He was just very good at asking questions and making me feel comfortable and talking to me, and it ended up being really great. So I liked that instead of just asking for my number right off the bat, he asked me for my name and got to know me and made me feel comfortable before he asked me for my number. So just something to keep in mind there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Asking anything before asking for their number, I think, is a really great place to start. So going on to the bad example that happened to me, I was a waitress when I was in college, and I was at work, and this guy came in with his parents, and in front of his parents, like, told me how beautiful I was and asked me for my number while I was working. And I really appreciated the fact that he was bold and very upfront and honest, but also it made me feel kind of awkward because number one, I was at work, so I wasn't really allowed to interact that way. And number two, he was in front of his parents, which was just very odd to me. So that one would have been better if he would have waited until they were leaving and his parents had walked out and he came back and asked me. But even then, I was at work and it just wasn't the right place. This is why I did a video all about how to tell if she's just being nice. And typically if someone is working and they're being friendly with you, it's not necessarily because they're into you or they like you. They're really just being nice because it's their job. So I had a boyfriend at the time too, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway really, but it's just awkward when you ask like in front of other people like that or while the girl is working.
I agree not asking in front of the mom or whatnot, just being socially aware and waiting for the right time. But even if the girl's at work, I'm a big fan of just taking action and trying it out anyways. Honestly, just sheer force of will for those of you guys. So I'll give advice for my actual advice on what I think about this in a second, and I'll tell you what I feel about this. But for those of you guys, I don't know. If you find a waitress cute and you're with your parents, yeah, wait till like after the meal and wait till your parents are gone so it doesn't put so much pressure on her. But also don't use her working as an excuse not to at least try. Like, don't understand she is working, so you're on a time limit. Try not to make it too obvious because you don't want to get her in trouble. Be fast, be quick, get out of the way, and then try to hit her up later and try to see how she is and try to talk to her over the phone or whatnot. I'm not a big fan of of making excuses, because if you make one excuse, you're going to make another excuse. I can't approach her for X, Y, and Z. So my 2 cents.
It can just make them feel kind of uncomfortable. So I just wanted to give you guys an example of one that was successful and one that was not successful and why. So I hope that you all found this helpful.
Okay, so again, she doesn't know really what she has an idea of what she's talking about because she's a very attractive girl, but she doesn't have the idea of what it takes for a guy to go from being one type of guy with a girl to go to another type. She's used to guys being stagnant. In her head, guys are stagnant in value. They don't grow or evolve. My 2 cents is that if you're at one level, so you're fresh at this and you don't read social cues, which is probably most of you guys who watch these videos, you choose through sheer force of will. You want to start studying and going out there and approaching a lot of girls until you get comfortable with it, until you get very confident. Get out there outside of doing this, get confident in yourself, win, until you feel like you are a sexy motherfucker. And then from there, you can go indirect, direct, like she was talking about here in this video. But yeah, you got to get a lot of losses under your belt before you get a lot of wins. Don't make excuses for not approaching and taking action because a girl in a video says not to. You want to be taking quality plus quantity of effort. You want to be trying your best to take as much action as you possibly can, while also, to be fair, thinking critically. Ask yourself, how did I make her feel? How did I feel? What could I have done to make the interaction even better? X, Y, Z. Again, this is advice that probably mainstream doesn't like to listen to because it is insinuating that you have to put in more work to improve the women. Surprise, surprise, yes you do. It's one of the most competitive fields for men in the world. Between money and women, it's the two most valuable things. You have to actually work at this, though it's a competitive fucking field. And girls go for the winners, not the losers. All right, guys, I hope this helped out. I'm sorry, Courtney, I didn't mean to talk shit. You're a cute, cool girl, and you're kicking ass in this field. No hate. And with that being said, peace.